Last year, Kansas City beat Tennessee 35-24 in the AFC Championship game, trying to do it back-to-back years. Rush coming. Mahomes floats it. Wide open. Kelce. Touchdown. Kansas City. An incredible combination. Mahomes to Kelce. And the Chiefs are running away with it. Third down. Mahomes takes a knee. And that is it. The Chiefs are going back to the Super Bowl. The road to repeat for Kansas City will run through Tampa. The matchup is set for Super Bowl 55. It's the Chiefs and the Buccaneers.
It's going to be 49 yards is what it is. 49 yards to send it to overtime. Harrison Butker. I'm so nervous. So hundreds of thousands around the planet. The kick is good. It's going to overtime. And they're inside the 10. And remember, the game ends if Kansas City scores a touchdown.
Well, they went man-to-man. They had to risk it at this point a little bit. Haven't done that much, playing single-high man. And the perfect play call for the Chiefs, and here it is.
Mahomes has hit his last 8. Looking to the end zone for the win. He caught it. Ball game. Chiefs to the championship game. 8 tight ends come in for this snap. First and goal from the 3.
Kansas City needs to get 7 here. After a great drive, they stalled out far too much recently.
Going to go to Kelce. Got blockers out there. Trying to find an opening and a pylon. And they say touchdown.
Wow, touchdown. What an incredible individual effort by Kelce. It's a screen, not much room there.
With this quarterback, Patrick Mahomes, are going to win it. There's the snap. He goes to a knee. It's 4th down. And that is it. The bench is empty. The Chiefs have gone on the road and won in frigid Orchard Park, New York. In a game that had 5 lead changes, in one of the great quarterback matchups we have seen with Mahomes against Allen. The clock now at 3, at 2, at 1, and 0's on the clock, and it's over. The Chiefs are going to a 6th consecutive AFC championship.
They're one of the best in the league, if not the best. So their turnover ratio is right at the top. So they do a good job of whether it's stripping the ball and or intercepting the ball. The guys have got good skill on the back end, along with the linebackers. So yeah, they've got a good scheme that puts them, gives them an opportunity to be able to do that.
Yeah, I always believe losing can be either a positive or a negative. And so, obviously, you lose a football game, and that sucks, and you don't have the undefeated season, but you learn from those mistakes. You learn where you can get better, and you use that to make yourself a better football team and a better player. And so, just learning from that game, going up against one of the best football teams in the NFL and losing, you find some of your weaknesses, you try to make those things better. And then I think the most positive, I didn't have to play Week 18, so that was probably the best for me. Thank you.
Good morning, Kansas City. This is New Day with SSJ on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Sorry, I was waiting for the Tyson Holyfield fight, Dan. They're showing the first fight documentary on ESPN News and had to Let Holyfield finish Tyson off in the 11th. It's Friday, January 24th, 2025. It's Red Friday. It's AFC Championship Friday. We'll have Stan Weber in studio to talk football. Jeff Penner will be with us just before 8 o'clock to give you the final forecast for game day on Sunday at Arrowhead. We'll play some interviews that I took part in out at the Arrowhead Stadium practice facility yesterday as I was out there with Lebo and Bethany and Paige. Lebo was with Paige in the press conference interview room, while Bethany and I were getting interviews out of the locker room. Bethany doing them on camera for all of these Sports Radio 810 social media platforms. And I was getting interviews for this show. Not everyone was available. The media availability was 11:45 a.m. until 12:30, and it was remarkable. It was so ironic, so odd. Maybe not ironic. Maybe, I don't know. Just
Remarkable.
Bad luck, I guess, that at 12:29, several players that I wanted to talk to happened to make their way into the locker room just as the media availability had ended. Almost as if they knew that 12:30 it was over.
That's coincidental.
And so they chose to arrive at their lockers at 12:29. So, but well done by them.
Savvy veteran move.
Well done by them. I wouldn't want to talk to me either. But I did catch up with a few players, including Jalen Watson. So, talk to him, see how he's feeling after his first game back. Hollywood Brown, Nico Remigio, a couple others. Will play him in James Winchester was fun. Play them in the 8 o'clock hour. How about that, Jake? That sound good to you?
Sounds great.
We could probably play them all in that segment, yeah?
Yeah.
We're gonna.
Play them whenever you want, man.
Really?
Sure. I got them locked and loaded. At your beck and call.
Pete Sweeney from Arrowhead Pride will give his final report for us on New Day. That'll be at 8:30. And how about this? We're going to switch things up in the 9 o'clock hour. Tim Grunhard is unable to join us today. And so a few days ago, I asked Jake to reach out to an old friend. How did the reach out go? It appears good, but I mean, did he get back to you right away? Was it smooth sailing?
Yeah, it was short and sweet. It's quick. He answered.
Well, clearly, he said yes.
He said yes.
But was he receptive right away to the deal, or was he skeptical, or was he like?
He answered me way quicker than I thought he would have. Like within 20 minutes.
Was he like, "Oh, really? Come on!" Oh.
Nope. And
Is it the same host? You guys got somebody new, or is it?
It was a simple yes. And then I asked him another question. It was yes. And then there's a thumbs up.
What are the two questions? Let's take a peek behind your process.
Verbatim, it just said, "Hey, Coach, this is Jake from Sports Radio 810 and KC with Stephen St. John Show. You've been on with us regularly in the past. Is there any chance you might have some time tomorrow at 9:05 Central Time to jump on the show? I'm sure you're swamped. Thanks for your consideration. I hope you're well." And he sent me back, yes.
All right.
I said, "Thanks, Coach. You want me to hit you back on this number?" And he said, yes.
Okay.
And then I got a thumbs up.
Herm Edwards will be with us.
Coach.
The coach. We'll talk to him about the championship games and also ask him about Jaden Daniels, considering he coached him at Arizona State. So I think he would have some good insight to Jaden Daniels and how he's turned out. Well, we're here. It's Friday. It's the end of the week. We've got a couple of more days until the actual AFC Championship game. You listen to the montage of highlights of some of the from the previous matchups between the Chiefs and the Bills in the postseason. You listen and you get chills, or at least I did listening to the music and listening to the highlights and thinking about all the great moments that this team and this quarterback have provided us over the past 7 years. And now a chance for one more, a chance for a few more as the Chiefs host the Bills. 5:30 at Arrowhead Stadium. Chiefs now favored by 2 points. All right. Chiefs are favored by 2. How you feeling right now, Jake, about this game?
A bit nervous, excited, confident. I think
nervous, excited, confident.
Right. Yes. I can't wait. I don't feel like I mean it's we've mentioned it all week long. It seems like this has been the inevitable matchup that we've been kind of sitting on all year long as we've watched these teams kind of tear their way through the AFC.
Yeah, they have. You know, what's always difficult for me, extremely difficult, is for me to try to separate internally what I want to happen and what I think is going to happen, what I actually think is going to happen. It's very difficult, but I think I do a pretty good job of doing it. And look, I get accused by many, including Jeff Chadia from NFL Network and NFL.com, from being a homer that always picks the Chiefs. But I'm being honest with you. I always think they're going to win. I'm having a hard time right now trying to remember the last time that Patrick Mahomes started for the Chiefs and I didn't think they were going to win. Honestly. That I honestly didn't think they were going to win. You know, I've had doubts. I've had feelings like, oh, this is going to be a really tough game. It wouldn't surprise me if they lost. But I'm not kidding you. I don't remember the last time that Mahomes was at quarterback that I went into a game and I thought, yeah, they're going to lose. They don't have a shot here. I'm picking against them. Or even, you know what? It's going to be a close game, but I'm picking against them. I don't see him winning this game. I haven't felt when would it have been?
I don't think it's crazy. I don't think that's crazy.
Well, it's not.
Because, I mean,
how many times have they been underdogs with Mahomes starting a quarterback in the last 7 years?
Handful of times, if you know. It's not crazy. I'm trying to recall back how I felt in the 2019 AFC Championship game going against Brady. I don't know how confident I was against that.
I remember I had big questions, and I got super pissed off about the Tom Brady retirement party thing that was going around.
Yeah.
And one of my friends sent that to me. I said, don't ever send that to me again. That's the biggest jinx in the world. Don't do that.
Yeah.
I was That's a good one. That's a good point. I think that in that game, I was more hopeful.
Right. Yeah.
Hoping that they would win. I thought they would win. I'm sure if we listen back to the radio, I picked them, but I certainly wasn't overly confident that they would win.
Sure. And I mean, I think it'd be impossible to think that you'd ever have a thought that, Chiefs don't have any chance going into a game with Patrick Mahomes under center.
You weren't around, so you won't remember, but I thought they were going to win going into the Buccaneers championship game. I was nervous because of the injuries to the offensive line, but at that point, you have to put yourself in that situation. At that point, it was like the Chiefs they'll figure out they're going to win anyway. They're just going to win. And I still thought they were going to win that game at halftime. And then when it fell apart, it was one of the more shocking experiences. Because look at it. I mean, even like how many times, because they lost that game by a few scores, right? How many times have the Chiefs with Mahomes at quarterback lost by more than one score? That doesn't even happen. Just barely a couple of times. And so that was so I remember that was so shocking because I honestly thought they were going to win that game. Then in retrospect, you realize, that was just one too many injuries to the offensive line, and it was a terrible matchup with a damaged offensive line, and they couldn't overcome it. But I'm not, I don't, like, there are people all around the nation on all these channels, all these sports channels and everything else that pick the Chiefs and maybe believe it and maybe not, but they're picking because that's their role on the show. Because the other guy is going to pick against them, and they got to debate. And there's a bunch of people right now, and you know this, that are picking against the Chiefs, and they don't honestly believe it. Like these dummies that you see, the Skip Baylesses and the what was the other guy? The Craig
Carton.
That guy?
Yeah, that guy.
You listen, or at least I see people put their quotes out, and I'm like, oh, they can't honestly believe what they're saying. That's such an obvious troll job. They think the Chiefs are going to win, but they're clearly searching for clicks or what do you call it?
Shock factor.
Yeah, engagement. They're looking for engagement.
Yeah. Impressions.
And so I'm just being honest with you. You can't really trust the predictions or the picks from national pundits. They don't watch half the Chiefs games anyway. They're just picking by looking at box scores and what's gonna piss people off or get people engaged on social media. And so, but my point is, I really hope people know that. Am I a homer? Sure, I am. I've lived in Kansas City my whole life. Kind of hard not to be. I grew up a rabid Chiefs fan. I mean, that's But I try to do a good job of covering the team in a way that people that love the team would like me to asking questions and doing interviews and trying to show a human side of the players and talking to them, before games, after games, and how many Chiefs shows have I done in 26 years? From doing the Jared Allen show to the Extra Point with Kendall Gammon to doing all the players shows. I mean, I've interviewed hundreds of Chiefs players in my day, and I've always been very happy when people said, "Hey, I like when you talk to the Chiefs players because you get different answers out of them, and you relate well to them, whatever." And so I try to cater to the people that love the Chiefs, and that ain't hard. A lot of people love the Chiefs, right? But I hope people know that when I pick the Chiefs, I honestly believe they're going to win. I don't sit here and think, well, nah, I think Buffalo's going to win it by 10, but I'm going to pick the Chiefs anyway. Because I do like to be right. And guess what? If you pick the Chiefs, odds are you're going to be right. And I just don't like, when I look at a matchup, I think, oh, yeah, that's going to be tough. That's a tough one. But I still think they're going to win. Like, I thought the game at Buffalo was going to be extremely tough. But I thought they'd find a way to pull it out. They didn't. I was wrong. But if you pick the Chiefs every week this year, your record ended up pretty good. You did pretty well. And so as I sit here and tell you, yes, this game is going to be tough. Buffalo is one hell of a football team. And Josh Allen, I think, is the best quarterback in the NFL not named Patrick Mahomes. And I'm not just going to go with recency bias and go by what they did this year. I'm talking about the two best quarterbacks in the league right now are going to be on the field on Sunday. Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen. Save it for everything, whatever. You take your Lamars and your Burrows and everything else, put them all in a big pipe and smoke them. That sounds weird, but whatever. Roll them into a cigar and smoke it. Whatever you want to do with it. Two best quarterbacks in the world are on the field on Sunday. And so it will take a Herculean effort by either squad to win this game. But this is the world that Patrick Mahomes lives in. With this type of pressure, this type of spotlight on this type of stage. And it's not just him. Chris Jones, how many big plays has he made in the biggest games? Harrison Butker, how many big kicks has he made? Travis Kelce, does he come up big in the postseason, in the playoffs at all? I mean,
Yeah.
Or is he just the greatest of all time in the playoffs?
The most prolific receiver all time in the history of the NFL playoffs.
Has Andy Reid and Steve Spagnuolo shown you anything in the playoffs, in the postseason? Yes. Yes, 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 yes. Oh, yes. And, again, I do believe, like, I question exactly how important home field advantage is versus how important it was when I grew up going to Arrowhead and how important it was in the Schottenheimer era. But Bill Moss made a really good point to me. That team needed home field advantage a lot more than the Chiefs do. The Chiefs could play someone in a parking lot and they're still going to beat them. They win here, they win there, they win everywhere. But I'm going to tell you, in a game like this that is so important and so evenly matched, home field advantage does make a difference. Would you feel differently about this particular game if it was going to be in Buffalo on Sunday?
100%.
You absolutely would. Now, they went to Buffalo and they won last year, but this Buffalo team is better than that Buffalo team.
It's almost like they needed that.
Game.
They almost needed to go. Like they were playing with a chip on their shoulder and they were trying to prove something. And so going on the road probably helped them last year. Now, this year,
good point.
This year, I think the most important part of the home field advantage won't actually be on Sunday. I think it's been all week. I think it's been staying in their own beds, being around staying in their routines. You know, Mahomes is a new dad. He's around his baby,
his sweet baby,
right? They're locked in, and routine is so important for these professional athletes that's the advantage for me that I see, that their preparation, you know, sleeping in your own bed, not having to travel, not having to get on a plane. Granted, I'm sure they travel really well. I'm sure it's way easier traveling than a normal person. But I think just the routine, the normalcy that you have on the week basis and the days leading up to the game, I think that's vitally important, and I think that's a huge advantage. Granted, Arrowhead's one of the toughest places to play in the National Football League. And I think that will be a huge advantage. And I would feel a ton different if this game was in Orchard Park. But it's not. It's here. And, you know, and that I think that's why, you know, you asked me how I felt. The last thing I finished up was confident. I think that's a big part of the reason why I feel confident about these Chiefs playing at home. Mammoth. This matchup.
Play the clip I just sent you from Mahomes and we'll break. Because when quarterback one says it, you listen. If I say it, you're like, okay. If Mahomes says it, you're like, oh. I literally just sent it. And so I do believe home field advantage means something this week, even more. And I do think that crowd has got to be loud. And there's got to be, the Arrowhead magic has got to be part of it. Because not only are the Chiefs battling the Bills, they're battling history. It's just so hard to win 3 in a row. That's why no one's done it. And some of the greatest teams in the history of the NFL have made it this far and have hit the obstacle and hit the wall and couldn't get over it.
None of those teams have made it to the Super Bowl.
And so they
all 3 lost in the championship game of their division conference.
You're battling the Bills. You're battling history. Here's Patrick Mahomes on the Arrowhead advantage this weekend.
It's the AFC Championship game. You got to put it all on the line in order to win and try to get to the Super Bowl. And this is a great football team we're going up against. So I think all of us are going to go out there and give everything we have. Chiefs Kingdom is they're always passionate. They're always loud. I would just say, hey, let's even take it up a notch. Let's see how loud this place can really get. But I always appreciate the support and the love that they show for us. And so I'm just excited for another AFC Championship game back at Arrowhead.
Look, I don't have to ask you on behalf of Patrick Mahomes. He already did. But listen. Think about everything this man has done for you in your life in the last 7 years. Think about how much joy he's given you. This man has given you more joy than your husband or wife will ever give you. I feel confident in that. And I'm sorry to all the married couples out there.
Hello.
There's no person in the world, your kids, your spouse, nobody that has put more smiles on your face than Patrick Mahomes.
How are you doing?
This last 7 years, or maybe ever.
How are you doing?
And all this man has said, all he's asked is to take it up a notch and get a little bit louder, okay?
Take it up a notch to see how loud this place can really get.
If you're in the club level, get your ass back in your seat for the start of the third quarter. If you're cold, put your gloves on. Put your mittens on. Don't go stand by the fire or go drink vodka on the rocks. Bring it back out there and watch a game. Give Mahomes what he asked for. Rattle the Bills. Give it everything you got. Give Mahomes what he's given you.
Chiefs Kingdom they're always passionate. They're always loud. I would just
everything.
Say, let's even take it up a notch. Let's see how loud this place can really get.
Give Mahomes what he's given you. Everything. Give it all you got. We'll take a break. Back after this on WHB.
How are you doing?
How are y'all doing?
Stephen St. John.
Sometimes the road to yes is a lonely one.
You are listening to A New Day with SSJ on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Yeah, I mean, he's a good dude. I mean, I understand why his team plays so hard and how they leave everything on the line, because they have a leader out over there that goes out there and does that every single week. And whenever you go up against the best, it brings the best out of you. And to go up against someone that you have a friendship with off the field as well, it's just like a brother or anything else. When you compete, you're going to compete, but when you're off the field, you're going to joke around and have fun too. So I mean, it's a competition that both of us want to win, but to know it's another good dude on the other side of the field is always fun.
Welcome back to the show. We've got business ahead of us, Jake, but reminder, a few short months and we'll be seeing this man live at the Uptown. Jack White brings us back, and we've got Stan Weber in studio on this Red Friday, AFC Championship Friday. What's up, Stan? How you doing?
Well, I'm doing great. That you can call it a Red Friday, and it's a championship game. Almost every team is done, and you get to call it Red Friday. Everybody gets to wear their red, get fired up in Kansas City. It's almost like we take it for granted. We should never take it for granted, but, man, Patrick Mahomes, 7 straight years, and super excited about this weekend because last weekend was the best weekend in sports with 4 NFL games at the divisional level, all the big boys playing. But the best day of NFL football and the best day of sports is Sunday. 2 championship games. Super Bowl's great, but there's only 1 game. And almost a little sadness sometimes that the NFL season is over. But this week, you still got to look forward to the Super Bowl and what it means to teams to even make it. Chiefs are past that, right? They're thinking about winning the Super Bowl. But you think about other teams just saying, how much does Buffalo just want to make a Super Bowl in the Josh Allen era? Washington, even Philadelphia, it's been a few years, just making it. So best day of sports, Sunday. Can't wait.
You know, I would I don't feel bad not letting Buffalo get to the Super Bowl because I'm reminded of the 90s, and they wouldn't let the Chiefs get to the Super Bowl a couple of times. I remember, like, you know, along with everyone else that was alive and watching the Chiefs back then. You know, I really, speaking of when I thought the Chiefs were going to win, after Joe Montana and the Chiefs went to Houston and beat the Oilers in the House of Pain 28-20, I was just so sure, like, oh, yeah, this is Montana. This is what he does. And look how the defense is playing. And they're going to go to Buffalo, and Montana is going to take them to the Super Bowl. And it was just so, like, and then when he went out of that game, they're like, oh, it's not going to happen. And I remember, you know, you get mad about, like, Buffalo ain't even going to win in the Super Bowl. It's going to go and lose. Let someone go that has a chance to win. You carry those feelings for a long time because I don't know about you, but like things that happened like sports-wise in my teen years, my formative years still, when I was a kid and watching the Royals lose, that's why I'll always have this thing against the Yankees, and watching the Bills and then the Broncos do those things to the Chiefs, that'll always still feel kind of raw, you know what I mean? And so, hey, this is the Chiefs' time. Buffalo, you had your time. You had your 4 straight. Not my fault you didn't win any of them, all right? And so, if the Chiefs win again, God bless them.
Absolutely.
It's because they're the best team, and it's their era. And I know, I think this is going to be a great game. I think it's going to be, you talk about, he was talking about, what did you say? What were the 3 things you said? You're nervous, excited, and confident, all wrapped into one. Oh, yeah. I've got all these emotions. And yesterday, when I'm out there with our man Todd Lebo out at Arrowhead, and I'm over in the locker room talking to different players, it was interesting talking to, you could tell Hollywood Brown is, super excited because he ain't done this yet, right? And even though he's on the practice squad, I talked to Steven Nelson for a little while because if people remember, he was part of the team that started this whole deal that lost to the New England Patriots in the AFC Championship game, and so he had a unique perspective. And he'll get a ring, and he was man, I've kind of been all over, and to be able to come back where it started and get a chance to win a ring with his team after watching him win all those, that would be awesome. And
Kareem Hunt,
right? Kareem Hunt, DeAndre Hopkins, Charles Omenihu. It broke his heart to lose in the to lose his season in the championship game and not play in the Super Bowl. And so there's some guys in there that are super highly motivated, and that makes a difference. Because especially for Kareem Hunt, he came in with Mahomes. He came in with some of these guys. They want to win for him. He wants to win for them, and he wants to live out his dream of winning a ring with the Chiefs. So there's enough guys in there that haven't done it yet. Then of course you got the rookie class that keeps that team hungry and keeps their edge, and I think that's important to have guys like that every year.
Oh, very much so. It's great to have the maturity and confidence and act like it's no big deal to play another championship game and just play your best. But I look at it like Christmas. If you've had an enjoyable period of time in your life where you just loved Christmas, it might have been when you were 10 to 13 years old or, whatever it was. Most people have a spot in their heart where they really remember and love Christmas. But when you get older, that love of Christmas usually comes out when you see the younger people, the people who haven't experienced it yet, be so excited, and it sparks your appreciation and excitement level. So I think it's the same thing, because if you're Travis Kelce or Patrick Mahomes or whatever, you kind of get used to this and you get to work. But then you see a DeAndre Hopkins who's a veteran NFL superstar walking around with excitement in his eyes, like, I can't believe, let's go. Like, wow, you got a little pep in your step. What's going on? And you don't understand. Okay, you learn from those guys. So to me, it's just like having younger people around at Christmas time who you all of a sudden want to be as enthusiastic about the event as they are, out of respect to them. And then you remind yourself, how cool is it? How cool is it to be able to play in this game against the big time of competition that you get? AFC Championship games, man, you're playing good teams. You are always playing good teams.
And this just, it adds to it that this is 4 times in 5 years between the Chiefs and the Bills. And in my mind, there's no doubt these are the 2 best quarterbacks in the world, and we get to see it play out again at Arrowhead Stadium. And I was talking about this earlier this week with Jake. I used to sit there and watch, the Manning and the Brady showdowns in the playoffs, or, Steve Young and Brett Favre, or, Troy Aikman, when elite quarterbacks would match up in the playoffs and they talk about the rivalry and I'd always wonder, gosh, what would it be like if the Chiefs had one of those guys that was matched up against other elite quarterbacks and they're talking about meeting multiple times in the playoffs? Who could have imagined it would be like this, right? Who could have imagined? You look, nobody wraps their arms around football more than you. 7 straight AFC Championship games. I still I say it and I see it, and I hear it, and I still can't. It still doesn't register really, and I don't think it will until like after it's over, and then there's some time, and then we look back like, golly, they made that many in a row. That's unbelievable. I can't wrap my head around it.
No, it's outrageous.
Right, outrageous is a good word. It is.
And the history, the really split the hairs, find really deep history that's available for the Chiefs, and it's not too big for them to obtain, is outrageous. Because the best Super Bowl run ever is the Pittsburgh Steelers winning 4 Super Bowls in 6 years. If the Chiefs win this Super Bowl, they will have won 4 Super Bowls in 6 years.
Yeah.
To match that. 3 Super Bowls in a row, winning has never been done, but it truly is unfair, and to not understand and know your history well enough to say, in 1966, when the Super Bowl I was played, Green Bay was better than the Chiefs by a significant amount. Super Bowl II, when they beat the Raiders, they were significantly better than the Raiders. So why wouldn't you notice that in 65, Green Bay's Vince Lombardi team also won the NFL championship, and Buffalo won the AFL, but Green Bay would have won and won 3 straight. But Jake and I know, we did a little history, no one's won more than 3 straight ever. It happened back in like 1930. It happened with the Green Bay Packers in 65, 66, 67 seasons, and the Chiefs would match that. Greatest ever. Tie the greatest ever. And it's all right there before you. I got a question for you, though. Manning versus Brady. You remember those battles?
Sure.
Colts, Patriots. Did you think those two quarterbacks were pretty even, or did you kind of have the thought, well, Brady's just better? Did it take a little bit of the luster away when you thought about, I'm neutral, you're a neutral fan, you're watching this, just like there's millions of neutral fans getting ready for Sunday night, loving the game as much as you and I do, loving it just as much as we do because they love football. But do they think Mahomes has got Allen? Do they think that? Did you think Brady had Manning?
I always argued for Brady over Manning.
So it took a little bit of the intrigue away, like it wasn't a fair 50-50 battle. You really felt a little bit better about Brady over Manning. Did you feel that?
I did, but I also thought, I was also pretty sure that Brady had the better coach and the better talent around him. But then I also thought, but I liked Brady, and I wasn't a big Manning fan. But then what was the stat you rolled out in the playoff record?
Oh, yeah. Manning leads the playoff record 3-2.
Like the overall record is Brady, but in the playoffs, in the head-to-head, Manning won more than Brady, and I would not have remembered it that way.
That's not the philosophy. That's not what people remember.
Yeah, that's absolutely not.
Yeah,
you remember the championships? How many championships he won? But no, I
just wonder because a lot of things you said are exactly true right here. Yeah. A lot of people go, well, Mahomes and his team is better. He's got the better coaches and everything else. Allen's fighting uphill like Manning was. So you kind of say, I want to be excited about this game, but I really have to lean Chiefs. And the intrigue drops just a little bit because you're like, yeah, Mahomes will find a way to beat Josh Allen.
The games have been so good, though.
Because I want the hype to be there.
Yeah.
For the neutral fans, for everyone. Because you mentioned something very interesting. Josh Allen's is the second best quarterback in the National Football League. You said that with confidence. Conviction, right?
That's what I believe.
Okay. Is that a 2024 data point along with the rest of his career, or would you have said that last year at this time when his team wasn't as good, he was turning the ball over in the red zone for some reason and having little slips and things, not Lamar Jackson-like,
right?
But little things that, he's cleaned up his game where I can sit there and look at you and say, yeah, I can see where you come to that conclusion. But I want to know, is that a new conclusion because of his improved play of, he's not getting sacked, he is not fumbling, he is not throwing interceptions, and he's still doing all the other things that he did. Is that what earns him the number 2 spot, or would that have been true last year as well?
I had him number 2 last year. Okay. When I watch him,
we both had, when we ranked.
Do you think he's an improved player?
He's gotten better.
Yeah, he's gotten closer to Mahomes.
Right.
I think we did a top 5 ranking of our quarterbacks before the season even started, and we both had Josh Allen at number 2.
Okay. because I think it's an intriguing question. It doesn't matter right now, but it's fun if the Chiefs got a real game, so we don't need to mess with this stuff. So I'm not trying to get us off track, and because we only have a couple minutes left, we won't get off track. Jake won't allow us.
Jake won't let you.
But if you had just one game, and it's going to be an elite game. The Chiefs are the best thing to watch in sports. I mean, even if you're not a Chiefs fan, when that game comes on, and you hear Jim Nantz and Tony Romo and Patrick Mahomes out there, I mean, it is unbelievable. The 3 hours go way too fast for me. I'm like, no, don't stop. Keep playing 10 hours straight. Because the Chiefs play close games, right? They don't blow them out. Every play the Chiefs have, offensively and defensively, you're sitting on the edge of your seat wondering what's going to happen. I mean, the play is incredible, and the opponents are great. But who would you rather not play this Sunday? Is it Josh? That simple? I wish we weren't playing Josh? Or would you say I wish we weren't playing Joe Burrow? One game set up this Sunday. Who creates the greatest level of concern when you're rooting for the Kansas City Chiefs?
I think this Buffalo team and this Josh Allen.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I think he's earned that because he's played differently.
I mean, I would feel better if the Bengals were coming in this weekend.
I would not be nervous at all because they're the
if the
team's
Bengals
flawed,
would have won
yeah.
and won and won like they almost did,
Yeah.
and they were still rolling through, would you be more worried about them or Buffalo?
Buffalo.
Okay, how about the Ravens? Okay, I'm not a Lamar Jackson guy, and in the playoffs he's earned his reputation of making mistakes like that fumble he had. But they turned over the ball three times, and basically tied. I stand by, I think the Ravens are the better team when they play their best game. Are they reliable to play their best game? No. Okay? So would you rather be playing Buffalo or Baltimore on Sunday?
I think let's see if we can get this. I think that Baltimore is a better matchup for the Chiefs for whatever reason. And I think that the Bills are just a tougher matchup because they don't turn the ball over, they don't make mistakes. And Baltimore, there's always that possibility that they could play a clean game and beat anybody. I think their ceiling is higher,
That's what I'm saying. They're better on their best day, but they rarely produce it under the pressure
of the
playoffs.
I just feel like there's this.
But they turned the ball over 3 times on the road.
Yeah.
And could have ended up the winner in that game. That's how good they could play at times, even in the game.
Their ceiling's lower, but
Buffalo maxed itself out.
I look at things sometimes, and I don't just look at like on the field and X's and O's. There's other factors that I think about.
You should.
Emotions, and I think this, and I don't know how it's going to work out on Sunday, but this is a powerful thing I think for Buffalo, right? It's in their mind, they are David going up against Goliath. In their mind, even though everyone's picking them,
they're the Chiefs trying to go past the Patriots.
Yeah, they're trying to slay the demon, right? And they've gone up against them 3 times, and they've come so close, and they've had their hearts broken. And that's a powerful thing. And they're playing at a different level than everyone thought. And Josh Allen's playing at a different level. I still think the Chiefs just have their number, but I think you're going to see the best of the Buffalo Bills, and that still might not be enough to beat the Chiefs at Arrowhead. And so I just think for other reasons, you know what I mean?
Yeah, so it's
like the intangibles.
This is the high level of challenge.
Yeah.
But to get the Chiefs' confidence up and to show you how great Josh Allen is. So I'll jump on the bandwagon with you and prove a point about how great Josh Allen is as the second best quarterback in the NFL. You ready, Jake? In 1 minute, he says.
Come on, Jake.
Which team has the best head coach?
Bingo.
Chiefs.
Who has the best offensive coordinator? Not Nagy. Andy.
Over Brady? Yeah, Chiefs. Yeah.
Brady's good. Who has the best defensive coordinator?
Spags.
Chiefs.
Who has the best quarterback?
Chiefs.
Who has the best defensive player?
Chiefs.
And which one is it? Is it Chris Jones or McDuffie?
Whatever you want to pick.
So they're the two
Chris
best.
Jones.
They're the 2 best players.
Yeah.
How are the Chiefs? Josh Allen is legitimately considered able to go on the road and play the mighty Chiefs and have a chance when he's fighting that much.
He's that good.
He's a stud.
He's that good.
I'm just trying to, because I'm never gonna, you're not gonna get me knocked off my chair and blowing up Joe Burrow because he's the badass.
He's great.
He's a guy who won in college and the pros. And in a one-game situation, he is a killer. But Josh Allen this year, cleaning up his game, he got the Lamar Jackson crap off, cut off his tail, and he's cleaned it up. But look what he's doing. The Buffalo Bills are only dangerous because of Josh Allen. If he left the field, the Chiefs would run over the Bills. They're not that good.
Well, the reality is, in 2020, that 13-second game, he did everything possible to win that game, and his coach screwed him. And so that goes back to your point, head coach. I mean,
this is a mismatch, man.
It blows my mind that he kicked for a touchback on that. I still remember
Josh Allen is carrying the whole town of Buffalo on his shoulders, and he is unbelievably good enough to do it and likable guy. You hate Joe Burrow? How can you hate Josh Allen?
I respect the hell out of him.
Maybe you'll hate him if he wins on Sunday, but I mean,
I root for him when he's not playing against the Chiefs.
He's such a good dude, doing it the right way, and he's gotten better. I love the fact he's become better and better and better as a pro.
I interviewed him in Lake Tahoe, and he's an extremely nice guy. He just is. But, Chiefs are going to beat him on Sunday. Back after this on WHB.
What's up, Kansas City? Jake Gutierrez here. We're talking NFL playoffs. They're here. But how long? Time's running out on them. And have you played Pick 6 from DraftKings? Well, if you haven't, it's time to get on it. As the official daily fantasy sports partner of the NFL, DraftKings does fantasy sports like no one else. Play for better payouts on Pick 6. It's super easy to get started. Select 2 or more players. Choose if they'll have more or less of a stat. It's that simple. More or less. In 2 or more players, I like more. Odds go up. Win more money. Pick 6 is available in most states, including Missouri. Right here in town, you can go play Pick 6. And DraftKings is making it even sweeter for first-timers. New Pick 6 customers, play $5. You're going to get $50 in Pick 6 credits. That's free money. What are you waiting for? If you're a first-timer, go get signed up. Download the Pick 6 DraftKings app and use code 810WHB. That's code 810WHB for customers. To play $5, you're going to get $50 in Pick 6 credits. It's a no-brainer. What are you waiting for? It amps up the playoffs. You sit there, have fun, pick more or less, couple players, sit back and win your money. And first-time customers, play $5. They're going to get $50 back using that code 810WHB. And it's only on DraftKings Pick 6. The crown is yours.